Hey girls, it's Miss Liz from Ruggles Elementary. I hope you've all been safe and healthy while at home. I want to welcome you and your families to today's video. Before we jump into the activity, let's quickly go over what information we're going to need. Do we remember what STEM stands for? STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. But for today's activity, let's just focus on science and engineering. In the field of science, there are two very important types of energy. The first one is called potential energy. Potential energy is energy stored in an object due to the position that it's in. And the other type of energy is kinetic energy. This is the energy that the object has due to its motion. An example is when you're pushing someone on a swing. When you have the person pulled back on the swing in that still position before you let them go. In that position, they have a certain amount of potential energy. And then when you let them go, when you release them, that potential energy changes to kinetic energy due to their movement. Another example is when you jump on the bed. When you jump onto the bed, the springs in the mattress contain a certain amount of potential energy. And then once you jump into the air off of the bed, that potential energy changes to kinetic energy. So in today's video, we're going to be making our own potential and kinetic energy by creating an indoor slingshot. We're going to start off with the first toilet paper roll. So I already went ahead and added the marking using the marker. So using this and the scissors, you're going to cut the long way across the toilet paper roll. Okay? And then get your tape ready. You're going to roll it in so it gets more narrow. It should be about half the size. It's not going to be perfect. Okay, so about there. Alright, and then you're going to tape it. Okay, now that it's put together, the tape is keeping this part together. I had to put more around it to keep it more sturdy. Now you're going to put two holes into two opposite ends of it. I have a hole punch, but you can also have a parent help you and use a sharp object and like poke them into the cardboard. You want to punch it about ½ an inch into it. Okay, there's a hole. I'm going to do the same thing on the same end of it, but on the opposite side. Okay, so now that my holes are made, I'm going to take the pencil and push it through both of the holes. When you're pushing in, try to squeeze it through. It should be a little bit firm. Okay, so it should look like that. Now that we're done with the first one, we're going to put that one to the side and take the second one out and the scissors. Once again, I already put the two lines at each end, or on the same end on each side. And you're just going to take the scissors and cut the little markings. On both sides. Okay, now that they're cut on both ends, you're going to take the rubber bands. Make sure they're thin rubber bands because those are going to help you out more than the thick ones. You're going to take one, kind of pull the slit out a little bit just so you can see it, like right there. You're going to wrap the rubber band through them. Make sure that you try not to pull the cardboard too much, or else it might mess up. You should be able to yank it a little. If the cardboard starts to bend, then you can take tape and kind of bend it through with the rubber bands already hooked on right there, and then tape it on the inside. Like I say, you don't have to do the tape part where you bend the little piece of cardboard over, but sometimes you might have to, just to make sure it's firm and the rubber bands are in place. Okay, now that you got this part done, we're going to take the first piece, the smaller one, and put it on in the inside from the end where the opposite of the rubber bands are. And then with each side of the rubber band, you're going to pull it and hook it to the opposite side of each side of the pencil. Okay, so it looks like that. And this is it from the inside. So now when you pull back, you feel the resistance from the rubber bands. Now that we got our slingshot together, you're going to take the ball or anything that can fit into the tube. Make sure it doesn't fall inside the smaller tube. I'm going to put it in your slingshot. This is loading it up. It should just rest above it. I'm going to pull back on the pencil and release. Now that we have our slingshot made, we're going to test it out. I'm going to try to find 5 non-breakable items around my house, line them up, and try to knock each item down with my slingshot in one try. Alright, now that I have all my items lined up, I'm going to use the slingshot and aim the ball to knock them down. I only have one try at each item. I'm going to count that one. Okay, so clearly I only made 1 out of 5 of my targets, but that's okay. I'm going to count this one. It just didn't flop over, so that's alright. You can try this at home. I highly recommend that you do. Create your own slingshot, snap a picture, take a picture of the targets you got. Hopefully it's going to be more than mine. Send them over to us via email or post it onto the social media and tag Girls in Chicago in it. Alright, thanks. Bye.